Hi, it's Natalie here. Now, with a new year just around the corner, what better time than now to pause and reflect on this year's biggest lessons? Now, one of the best ways to do this is to journal. Plus, journaling also helps you to gain clarity on what it is that you really want to achieve in the next year. So, without further ado, here are 10 journal prompts to start the new year with a big bang. And remember, it's not just the new year, it's the new decade. So what better time to start journaling? Okay, so number one is to reflect on your yeses and your nos. So in the spirit of self-reflection and growing into a more confident and more empowered version of who you are, take a moment to think about some of the things that you said yes to and some of the things that you said no to this year and how you felt once you did it. So make a list of the things that you said yes to and the yes that you really meant, that you really wanted to say yes to, and all the things that you said no to, and exactly the same. When you said no, but it was an empowered no, it was a beautiful no. So what surprises you about your decisions? You know, which of these decisions are you really proud of? You know, what did you learn about the power of these two small but very transformational words that you can have in your life? And is there anything else that you want to change moving forward? Like for me, I know that I've made a commitment to myself this year to not travel so much. You know, I do a lot of travel, and although I love it and it's fantastic, I've realized that my priorities next year are more around, you know, getting into my health regime, getting into a spiritual practice, you know, inviting love into my life, really focusing on the children's curriculum that we're putting out into the world. And I want to make sure that I have space and time to be able to do that. So I'm going to be very discerning about what I say yes and no to next year. And maybe this is something you can think about for yourself as well. Okay, so number two is to define your big, hairy, audacious goal. So begin by deciding what it is that you want to achieve in 2020. So when you decide that, write your biggest, most audacious, hairiest, you know, most intimidating heart's desire at the top of the page. Even if it seems silly, or if it seems impossible, even if it seems frivolous, or even if it just seems way too big. Now, imagine that you have accomplished your goal. So write that at the top of the page. Think about if you've actually accomplished it. Now, write about where you are. Write about what you're thinking. You know, write down how you're feeling. You know, what kind of work went into achieving that goal? You know, what showed up for you to be able to achieve that goal? You know, how will your life change now that you've accomplished this big, fat, hairy goal? And how will you feel if your life doesn't change now that you actually have accomplished the goal? Just think about that. Does your goal still seem like it's worthwhile even though nothing may have changed? Now, if so, great. And if not, how would you tweak that? How would you make that a little bit more specific to what it is that you want? Now, go through this whole process and it's like you write that goal and then write everything out as if it's already happened, you know, and really be introspective within yourself so that you are going deeper and deeper into the more you write, the more you're building your belief and your expectation that you actually will be able to reach that goal, okay? All right, so tip number three is to write a love letter. So, you know, rather than writing a love letter to a person that you love, I challenge you to write a love letter to someone that makes you the angriest or someone who's hurt you. You know, putting your feelings in writing has proven to be very beneficial and very cathartic to help you heal and to let go of the pain so that you can move forward. You don't have to share the letter with the person, but just going through this process for your own benefit can be absolutely life-changing. So I really encourage you to do that. Okay, so number four is to write a letter to the past. So the letter would go something like this. Dear Nat, on January 1st, 2019, here is a list of all the things that you freaked out about for no reason in this past year because they actually turned out just fine, as most things do. And here are some of the things that you completely surprised yourself with over the past 12 months, and here are all the ways that you handled them well. And a couple of ways that maybe you could have handled them a little bit better. And here are some lessons that you learned in 2019. And here are a few that you're still working on. and that one big lesson that you thought you'd already learned, but then had to learn again and again? Well, you've learned it now, you don't need to learn it anymore. So here are all the reasons that you're going to forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know before, but that you actually did learn this year. And here are a few reasons why you should totally celebrate how amazing you were, and so on and so on. So, write a letter to you, and really it's a review of your performance that you did over the year. Looking at the things that you could improve on, looking at the things you did well, looking at the things that was such a huge learning curve for you, so that you still remember and take them through into 2020. Okay, number 5 is to write a letter from the future. Now, imagine yourself on December 31st, 2020. Now, write a letter from your future self that is to you. So what has your future self accomplished in the past year? What have you learned? Where have you been? Who was meaningful to your future self? What books did you read? This one's pretty critical. Reconnect with this letter throughout the year. And as you're growing into the person that you imagine yourself to be, just seeing if you are on track, and really making sure that you send a lot of love to yourself as well. Okay, so number 6 is to remove any distractions. So it may entertain you now, but it may hurt you or sabotage you from your success in the future. So if that's the case, it is a distraction you do not want to settle. Don't exchange what you want most in life for what's easiest in this moment. Get rid of those distractions. Study your routines and your habits, figure out where your energy goes, and remove any distractions that may be stopping you from really moving forward, not just in an empowered way, but moving forward in a very fast way. It's really time to focus on what matters. As I was saying before, I've really decided that a lot of the travel that I do, I'm going to really have to prioritize, because what really matters to me is making sure that we get this children's curriculum into schools this year. So that is going to be my number 1 focus. So ask yourself, what's one distraction that's been getting the best of you lately, and why is that? And just journal about that, write about it. For me, it's like, well, what is the motivation behind me doing what I do? So is it going to be a yes? Is it going to be a no? And what is my priority now? So really think about that. Okay, so number 7 is to become aware of your limiting beliefs. So do you know what limiting beliefs are stopping you from achieving your dreams and big success? Now, limiting beliefs are by far the number 1 obstacle holding most people back from the career they want, the finances, the relationship, and the health that they're really looking for. And you sort of kind of get to a point, you just don't seem to be able to push through that point. It's normally because we've got limiting beliefs that are holding us stuck. Now, the tricky thing about limiting beliefs is that most of us know that we have them. In fact, it's not even that hard to catch yourself thinking a limiting belief or thinking a negative thought. Things like, I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve this, and just mentally bookmarking and sabotaging yourself, and just going over and over, and it's like these thoughts, negative thoughts, are like a spiral in your mind that have maybe been going for 20, 30, 40 years. Now, one of my favorite ways to be able to get to the core of what my limiting beliefs are is to simply put pen to paper and drill down on each limiting belief by asking myself, what is the belief that has led to this belief? So you write that down, and you go, well, what is the belief that led to this belief? And then you write that down, and then again, what is the belief that led to this belief? So once you can't go any deeper, that's when you know that you've really reached the core of where that limiting belief came from. Then the next question you want to ask is, well, how can I prove that this is not true? So as you become more mindful of your limiting beliefs, you'll notice that your mind starts to begin pushing away your self-doubt and the negativity. Now, if you need more help with this and you suspect that you have limiting beliefs, but you're not quite sure what they are, I encourage you to take my free Success Blocker quiz. It only takes 30 seconds, and you'll discover what your number 1 success blocker is. So you can just click the link in the comment box below. Okay, so number 8 is for moving forward and letting go. We want to journal about moving forward and letting go. So sometimes we don't have the best of years. And I don't know about you, but for 2019, I feel like I get to the end of the year and I had a productive year, but I felt like I had to walk through concrete, wet concrete, to get here. So if you had that kind of 2019, that'll actually go down record as one of the most difficult years or challenging years, then congratulate yourself for surviving something awful or something challenging and that you made it to the other side. So reflection will actually help you with this. So who hurt you this past year? Who did you hurt? In what ways did you disappoint yourself or did you disappoint others? What has been especially difficult to learn? What things do you wish you could go back and undo or redo? And just write it all out on the page. And then when it comes to New Year's Eve, this is one of those journal entries that you light on fire and you just release it. If you don't allow yourself to move past what's happened and what was said and how you felt, you will always look at your future and your present through that same dirty lens. And nothing will be able to be clear for you. It'll really fog and really affect your judgment. So when you realize this, you realize that, that is a great thing to do. Just burn that puppy on New Year's Eve. So what you do now really matters more than what happened yesterday. So what's one unchangeable reality that you're still holding on to that you're resisting? What can you do right now to ease your mind into the acceptance of this reality? Okay, that's a really powerful one to go through. So I hope that you actually, I encourage you to do that for New Year's Eve. Okay, so number 9 is to make silent progress. So what have your actions over the past year been saying about how you prioritize your personal growth? So what kind of silent progress would you like to make in your life by the end of 2020? Now, a big part of your life is a result of your choices. So if you don't like some part of your life, it's time to start making changes and making new choices. And it's okay to be low-key about it. You don't need to put everything on social media. Silent progress and letting your actions speak for themselves in 2020 can be a very grounded and very powerful place to live from. Okay, number 10, so what's one hard lesson that your grateful life has taught you in the past year? So make a list of all your gratefuls, and once you've got that list nailed down, add why you're grateful to each one of those. So pick the one that was the most meaningful to you this year, and then brainstorm on how you can help add that to somebody else's gratitude list for 2020. And it's always good to pay it forward. And don't forget to subscribe to the Mind Movies YouTube channel for more videos on personal growth and the law of attraction. My name is Natalie Ledwell. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.